Yesterday evening, the United States Commerce Department did something unprecedented. They issued an emergency export control directive, banning access to Anthropic's brand new Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models for all foreign nationals, even including foreign national employees working inside Anthropic itself. Unable to selectively police the nationalities of millions of API users globally, Anthropic had no choice. They pulled the plug and shut the entire model tier down globally. Within hours, the market delivered its verdict. As the realization hit that centralized AI can be deleted by a single government memo, capital slammed into decentralized alternatives. Bittensor surged over 15% in a vertical breakout, trending at the absolute top of global metrics. Because when a government can flip a switch and turn off the world's most advanced software infrastructure overnight, the case for decentralized AI writes itself. Today we break down the mechanics of the Anthropic freeze, analyze Bittensor's brutally compressed tokenomics, and explain why the truly liquid float of TAO has just entered an institutional chokehold. This is the Signal and Noise podcast. My name is Noel. Take a moment to subscribe. Let's dive in. Let's unpack the exact anatomy of the catalyst that ignited this run. On June 9th, Anthropic launched Claude Fable 5 to the public. It was hailed as a massive leap forward in frontier intelligence. Exactly 3 days later, at 5:21 p.m. Eastern Time, the U.S. government handed them a national security directive. The order was absolute: deny access to any foreign national globally. Think about the pure infrastructure reality of this. How does a centralized cloud API provider guarantee that a developer pinging their server from an enterprise node isn't a foreign national or utilizing an undocumented jailbreak? Because selective enforcement was a technical impossibility, Anthropic had to completely disable Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for their entire global customer base. It is the first time in human history that a frontier large language model has been effectively recalled by government decree. Startups, developers, and foreign enterprise deployments that spent millions integrating this API woke up to find their infrastructure offline. No transition period, no workaround, just an empty server response. The official Bittensor network account responded to this directly on X, stating a truth that resonated through the trading space. "We are not building decentralized AI because it sounds better. We are building it because the off switch cannot belong to one hand. If AI is going to run the economy, you cannot have it gated behind one API, one vendor, one jurisdiction, or one policy mood." The market didn't just hear the narrative, it immediately looked at the math under the hood of $TAO and realized the supply is completely locked up. This brings us to the hyper-aggressive tokenomics driving this squeeze. While retail was staring at short-term price charts, the underlying demand has been tightening like a vice. Let's look at the actual numbers governing subnet registration. To launch a new subnet, a team must bond and lock up native TAO tokens. The cost of registration is dynamic. It operates on a market-driven mechanism that rises automatically with demand. In under a year, the registration cost has skyrocketed a staggering 6.5 times, moving from 230 TAO to over 1,500 TAO per slot. At the current market range of approximately $250 to $275, registering a single subnet slot now requires bonding roughly $400,000 to $470,000. This isn't a simple fee. This TAO is completely removed from the liquid supply and locked away as long as that subnet remains active. Think about the structural pressure this creates. Every time a new AI team wants to deploy a specialized model, they are forced to go into the open market, bid for scarce tokens, and lock them in a protocol vault. Demand for the network's utility doesn't just increase velocity, it directly cannibalizes the circulating supply. But the subnet registration locks are only one layer. Let's look at the macroeconomic supply schedule. In December 2025, Bittensor quietly underwent its very first block rewards halving. Daily emissions were cut cleanly in half. Overnight, the systemic sell pressure generated by miners and validators looking to clear hardware costs was slashed by 50%. And where is the existing supply? This statistic should make every short seller's blood run cold. 73% of the supply is currently staked. When you combine the staking ratio with institutional lockups, the truly liquid float available on open exchanges sits at an effective approximately 3.4%. This tiny float is anchored by massive institutional conviction. Look no further than Nvidia's massive $420 million strategic position. of which a staggering 77% is locked and completely off the market. This isn't a meme-driven paper empire. In Q1 of 2026, the network generated $43 million in revenue from functional AI services, supercharged by PwC's global rollout of the Score subnet across 137 countries. You have an asset class with a $2.5 billion market cap, experiencing a massive geopolitical demand shock, backed by Nvidia, validated by PwC, running on a halved emission schedule. When a buy order hits a market structured like that, price doesn't slide, it explodes. If you manage capital, recognize this shift. Decentralized AI has transitioned from a speculative subgenre into a national security hedge. Update your portfolio strategy immediately. Stop evaluating TAO based on short-term liquidations. Look at tracking active subnets and monitoring development health via newly launched tools like the on-chain Git Activity Tracker, which publicly scores repos based on active developer commits. Separate projects that use AI as a marketing buzzword from infrastructure plays like Bittensor generating millions in utility fees. Hard execution wins cycles. Soft hype bleeds out. Even with a microscopic float, remember that crypto markets swing violently. Do not trade with reckless leverage on a low-float asset, or you will get wicked out before the real macro expansion occurs. Let's bring it all home. The noise. Decentralized AI is unnecessary, altcoins are dead, and monopolies rule. The signal. The US government just proved that centralized intelligence is a liability that can be erased with a single legal pen stroke. The off switch belongs to one hand, and global enterprise cannot risk building the future on a volatile political mood. Meanwhile, Bittensor has engineered a tokenomic fortress. Supply is being compressed from multiple directions at once, through a 6.5 times jump in registration costs, halved daily emissions, an immense 73% staking lockup, and massive institutional backing. The market has realized that Tau isn't just an asset, it is the scarce, utility-driven sovereign layer for the future of open intelligence. The sovereign AI migration has officially begun, and the plumbing is tightening by the minute. Track the infrastructure. Understand the mechanics of the float. Stay sharp, stay focused. That's it for this edition of the Signal and Noise podcast. My name is Newell. Do like and subscribe. When governments pull the plug on centralized servers, make sure your wealth is positioned on the permissionless rails. Please, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. We'll see you on the next block.